Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and a number of Arab countries have called for a boycott of French goods. Now, while France has withdrawn its ambassador from Turkey, tensions over the issue are flying high in the Muslim world.
French dairy products, fish and drinks are no longer available in this store in the Yemeni capital, Sana'a. The shopkeeper followed the boycott call from Turkish President Erdogan and other leaders in the Muslim world. Many customers support the decision. All Yemenis should boycott French products. This is the least citizens can do for the sake of the Prophet. Any offense to the Prophet is an insult to the entire Islamic world. We call for all Yemenis to boycott American, Israeli, and French goods. In many Arab countries like Syria, Jordan, and Iraq, people took to the streets to show their anger against what they call French President Macron's anti-Islam agenda. That's something Turkish President Erdogan accused Macron of. His boycott call has gone viral in many Muslim countries.
I'm calling on all my citizens. Just like they say don't buy goods with Turkish brands in France, I'm calling to all my citizens from here to never help French brands or buy them.
The French government is trying to calm the situation.
Boycotts are not part of the French tradition. The best strategy is to calm tensions and explain things. We have a diplomatic corps that is perfectly suited to fulfill this mission. And to remind people there is no battle against French Muslims, but against Islamic terror.
But more Arab countries like Saudi Arabia are encouraging the protests and condemn the display of cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad. It's blasphemy in their eyes. The French see it as freedom of expression, but it was the key reason why one attacker beheaded the public school teacher, Samuel Paty.
Let's get more on this from Erdal Yalçın. He's a professor of economics at the Constance University of Applied Sciences. Welcome to the program, Erdal. The Turkish president and others calling for the boycott of French goods. Should the makers of those be worried now?
It's very important to bear in mind the rhetorical confrontations between senior politicians from Turkey and France is a continuation of political tensions which have started much earlier. We are not only talking about this freedom of speech. There is also a tension in the Eastern Mediterranean where France has sent the Navy to back Greece and Cyprus because Turkish vessels are conducting exploration, which is not accepted from the European countries. And the standing and the confrontation we see at the moment is a clear signal of President Macron, who considers himself as the spearhead of European countries. He is no longer willed to make any compromise when it comes to political provocations and actions from Turkey. So we are in a difficult situation, but I have to emphasize when it comes to actions from the European side against Turkey, then this unanimous standing and backing of the French position turns out to be much weaker.
Well, but the boycotts, they are spreading to the Middle East and beyond, and France's largest employee federation urged companies to, quote, resist the blackmail. Could this grow into a full-fledged problem for French companies?
I don't think that, it's very difficult to assess how important this and how long this will last. We had this in the past already between French companies and Arab countries. We had it between the US and France. The more concerning aspect is in how far this tension between France and Turkey in particular is going to damage and destabilize Turkey. I mean, and here comes the problematic point. 2 weeks ago in the European Council, France insisted to impose sanctions, for example, against Turkey and Turkey's behavior, together with Austria, Cyprus and Greece. But there was clearly an opposition from Germany, from Hungary, from other countries, which are more concerned about the stability of Turkey and less concerned about whether there will be, like in the recent days, a problem in the Arab world with respect to the French economy.
Adel, the European Commission called on the Turkish president to change his approach in order not to derail the bloc's attempts to renew the dialogue with Turkey. Does Mr. Erdogan care about that? Should he?
Well, I believe, there is everybody can see it. And I have been traveling through the Middle East and Turkey over the last 2 years. Trust is no longer existing between senior Turkish politicians and major leading European politicians. In particular, Mr. Macron is not going to cooperate at the moment with the Turkish government. But at the same time, and I have to emphasize this, putting aside, with all his wrong behavior, the Turkish president and the Turkish government, within the Turkish society, there is a clear majority which is not going to accept also what is happening, for example, in northern Syria, the standing of European countries supporting the Kurdish militia, the happenings in the Eastern Mediterranean, that Turkey has to accept a territorial agreement, which is simply not really understandable from the Turkish perspective. So there is the necessity for cooperation, but one should not only reduce the problem on the Turkish government, there is also the Turkish society. And I'm very pessimistic that the standing of Europe will lead to a solution.
Economist Adel Yalcin of the Constance University of Applied Sciences, thank you for your insights.
Thank you.